Gayatri Mahamantra once. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Today, the eve of Guru Purnima, the day of observation for the source of knowledge, the blissful knowledge. We pay our obeisance, our respects, our great deepest regards to the source of that knowledge that we term it as Guru. Taking Muni Vedvyas, the source of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as our timeless Guru, let us chant a mantra in respect to the Guru, the spirit of a Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwarai, Guru Deva Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah, Akhand Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah, Avahayami Sthapyami, Dhyayami Pujyami, Tato Namaskaram Karomi. This was the invocation of the spirit of a Guru. Today, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse number 18. Like all other shlokas, this too bears a very unique message for the generations to come. It's a timeless knowledge which cannot be confined into any compartment of time. It is immutable. It flows along with the eternity. That is why we call this knowledge as Sanatan and Shashvat. These are two words that we ascribe for its immutable properties and the eternal aspects of its timeless relevance. In this particular verse, let me directly draw two special references that it wants to make. And they relate in direct consonance with the prevailing times. It will take me a while before I'll be able to connect you directly to the essence of the subject. But before that, let me start with the explanation and some deliberation upon two words, namely the Brahman and the Pandita. Pandita and Brahman. We all know that when it comes to take a holistic view, when we have to take a view of the entirety of a situation, about something which probably has a larger spectrum, and when we have to see it in totality, we use this word by the name satellite view. Now, this term satellite view, this term means, exactly it means that we are trying to watch something not from a tower, from a little height, but we are trying to sight something from such a magnanimous height wherefrom we can easily see the entire spectrum and the span of the things beneath that. Try to go slightly further. For example, I'm not a good artist, yet I'm trying to make an effort. If this is you watching in a satellite view upon something which is below, beneath, obviously you shall access to the entirety that is below. In comparison to, if you are able to see a long distance with a horizontal view, you might be able to see some tree, there might be some buildings which might obstruct your view, and this I can term it as horizontal view. This is satellite view, very rightly mentioned over here. However good eyesight you may bear, however good binoculars you may bear, yet there is a confinement in the horizontal view because there are obstructions amidst. You cannot go beyond a limit. Whereas in the comparison to that, when we talk about a satellite view, we are able to sight everything that falls beneath with equanimity. Whether it's a high-rise building, whether it's a pond, lake, or the terrain of a river, or a mountain, whatever it may exist. The moment you access a satellite view beneath, you are able to do justice to the entire plot that is visible before you. You see things in state of equipoise, equanimity, without making much distinction and without confronting any hindrance. Whereas in a horizontal view, there are hindrances. You have extreme limitations, you cannot surpass them easily. Now, the satellite view is something which probably we access when we can easily understand. Today, in the modern times, especially in India, as I may recall, and worldwide as well, I'm not becoming a brand ambassador to any of the brands, but yet just making a mention for the sake of an illustration. We have taxi companies that we normally use in a day-to-day dispensation, day-to-day travel, like Taxi for Sure, Ola, Uber, etc. What do they do? You go to the app, you mark the place where you want to be, your destination, you press the button, it automatically detects your present location, your pickup location. Through the satellite, it informs to the driver, the driver approximates your location, comes to you, and from there onwards, according to the route which is envisaged and suggested by the satellite, he automatically delivers you to that point. And you disembark without informing or guiding or navigating the driver with right and left. Not only that, GPRS is so smart, GPRS means satellite, it's so smart, it's smart enough to suggest, if at all, alternate routes that bear less traffic, probably where you can easily move through without accessing any bottleneck. All this is happening through satellite view. Because when you access a satellite view, you're able to do justice with each and everything that is beneath. Without having a confrontation of hindrances, you access a larger view, you rise above all ongoing confrontations and are able to do justice with a larger objective, with a larger purpose. That is the objective of the satellite view. I just took an example of the taxi services that utilize GPRS system today to facilitate our travel from one point to the other. Our commutation is now being facilitated by GPRS. All this mention has got something which directly has an inference to be drawn from this particular verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in this particular verse, there is a mention of two words. In English, I'm writing them. One is Brahman and another is Pandit. Those of you who are from India, they would certainly associate with these two words and would directly draw an understanding. Those of you who are not from India, for them I'll make a slight elaboration in order to make you understand. In India, as we have, especially in Hinduism, we know about the caste system, and we have 4 layers of the caste, and there is a caste that we termed as Brahmins. The Brahmin, you can call it Brahman, or you can even put I over here to make it more precise, Brahmin. Bhagavad Gita here in this particular verse has got nothing to do with the caste system that prevails in India, although it is gradually getting obliterated, becoming obscure, but yet it exists. Brahmin, according to this particular verse, has been defined by 2 major properties, and they are Vidya and Vinay. Vidya and Vinay. Here, Vinay means humbleness. I'm writing humble, that's it. And Vidya means the art of decision making. It has not one meaning. Not only art of decision making, but apart from that, it could be exercising wisdom. There are so many interpretations to the Vidya, because Vidya means the ability to utilize the available informations. The way you utilize informations. Information is education. Education like history, commerce, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, these are informations. But once you learn those informations, when you gather them, you grasp them, absorb them, then when it comes to utilize those informations, that you do out of your understanding. You process the facts according to the existing bias in your mind. Then after processing that information, you take decisions. People with a similar kind of qualification could draw different conclusions. And as we see, not only in medical practitioners, even in the judiciary, in the law, we see that different judges, when they have to judge the same situation with the same kind of set of laws, their conclusions could be different. That is why we observe that in Supreme Court, when there is a bench and the same case, 3 judges out of 5, 3 could be having a dissenting opinion, 2 could be having a different opinion. What does it mean? When people conclude with the same set of information on the same parameter, when they conclude differently, it's on the basis of Vidya, which means the way you deploy your understanding to conclude upon the facts affront, the facts before you. And Vinay means humble. The definition of a Brahmin according to the shlok is a learned gentleman, a learned fellow, gentleman or a gentle lady. It's beyond gender. A learned individuality that is born with Vidya, that is, to rightfully conclude upon the facts of information, to rightfully exercise one's own insight to conclude upon subjects, and is humble at the same time, has been termed as Brahmin. And in Gita, these two have been given a slight comparison. Although the shlok, the verse, does not directly compare them, but the inference I am trying to draw with my own limited understanding is a distinction between these two words. Whereas in India, in general parlance, these two words are synonyms. When people who are from the Brahmin caste are also addressed as, "Hello Panditji, how are you?" So in India, when it comes to general parlance of addressal, we use these two words as synonyms. Whereas in Gita, these two words have been distinctly made a mention over here. In Gita, the word Pandit has been given much more emphasis. Why? For a reason. Let me draw a great master of all times, Adi Guru Shankaracharya. He has made a mention. He has made a mention that, I am writing it in Hindi as well, Atma Vishaya or Drishti Buddhi, which means an intellect that is submerged in knowledge about self. This is by Adi Guru Shankaracharya. This is the definition of the word Panda, P-A-N-D-A. The word Panda is the basic word from where the word Pandit has been sourced. Now Panda, according to Adi Guru Shankaracharya, means an intellect, an understanding. When I use the word intellect, it could be understanding, not merely confined to intellect, an understanding, which is always submerged about the knowledge of self. That has been termed as Panda, which in other words means the difference between a Brahmin and a Pandit could be, a Pandit is the one who has got satellite view about all existence around him. When he has to take a view, he views everything holistically. He views something like a hologram. He views something in entirety. He does not try to draw a distinction or a discrimination, because he knows that everything is entangled, everything is connected. This is all, uniformity is there. Although we see diversity in apparent terms, to make you understand more about the satellite view, to make you understand about the holistic view, to make you understand more about the entirety view, and to make you understand about the meaning of panda, something which is already absolutely submerged in the knowledge about self. Let me take another example before I conclude and finally make you understand this. Finally, we understand it rather. There is a slight distinction these days between physics and quantum physics. Physics, we know, the science of the matter, which works upon the principles that are visible, although bit invisible principles are also deployed. But quantum physics has taken a grand leap. It has totally transcended into a dimension where almost the invisible world is existing. And it's more than 4 to 5 decades now that we concluded under quantum physics, which yet is the science of frontiers. It's yet the science of frontier. We concluded that the existence of any matter, whether it is glass, plastic, you, me, anything which is matter, the ultimate existence of matter goes beyond the atomic constitution and is sourced to the vibrations, which means different matters to atom to vibration. Different vibrations oscillating at different frequencies lead to different kind of atomic construction than a different matter. This is how it is generally defined. Everything ultimately boils down to vibration. We all are vibration. All around us is a vibration. This is a common understanding. When we conclude to the understanding about matter, at the end of the vibration, we are taking a satellite view of the entire existence, the visible existence, something that is all around us in the form of matter, heart, body, flesh, brick and mortar. This is the satellite view. How does Panda relate to that? Why it is the Pandit's view or a Pandit's side? Because here it is said, an intellect submerged in knowledge about self. Now, a question comes, when an understanding is confined to only self, how can it be termed as a satellite view? Because according to the ancient Indian wisdom, the spark in the human termed as the soul, Chetana, Atma. The word is Atma, Atma. The spark in a human is an infinitesimal spark of a larger consciousness, which we call as Mahachetana, the larger consciousness. This spark is a window to get connected with the entire cosmos. All who have realized themselves, that's why we call them as realized souls. They underwent realization. It means that realization means that earlier it was ignorance which was prevailing, ignorance which led to diversity. But the moment they realized, they became realized souls, enlightened souls. Enlightened and realization is all the same, to express the same thing. When you become a realized soul, when you become an enlightened soul, then your understanding, or the window you access to see and observe and understand and comprehend, is which connects you with the entire cosmos. You become one with it. You get an expansive view. E-X-P-A. Expansive. I'll say insight or observation or whatever it may be, which generally does not exist. Only realized souls can access that. Because the moment you become a realized soul, you can see that all the barriers, all the blocks, everything that ultimately appears to be disintegrating is actually non-existence. It is all the same. The difference between one animal to another, one person to another, one matter to another, totally dissipates. It disappears. It withers away. And you see oneness. That's how you and me have read in the books, in the scriptures that we read, that we try to understand, mention about that oneness. The oneness is the same which a Pandit is able to access like a satellite view, about the wholesome that it's able to sight beneath. It's the same which the quantum physicist tries to make us understand. Every end, the ultimate end of every matter boils down to vibration. What is this? This is about when the quantum physicist becomes a realized intellect to understand and analyze and source the existence of a matter, goes to the vibration which is common all around. It's a connivance, it's an interplay of different vibrations. And the same goes here also. A Pandit, the word Pandit means the one who bears this intellect which is submerged in the knowledge about self. Actual word is Panda. A Pandit is the one who has now the satellite view, a realized soul, can see and observe things without any barrier, no walls existing. It's all oneness. It's all completeness. In comparison to the one which is a Brahmin, which is learned, well learned, not only learned, but also has Vidya, can exercise judiciously, rightfully, the available informations for different purposes, and at the same time is humble as well. There is a small distinction. A Brahmin here, not the caste one, but according to the shlok, a Brahmin could have a long view, a horizontal long view, long distance. It could have a long distance view. But yet it does not have a satellite view which a Pandit can have, or a Panda. The word Panda, Pandit can have. There is a slight distinction between both. Because the moment you have the Pandit's satellite view, I am using modern terminologies in order to judiciously and rightfully understand and connect to what exactly the Bhagavad Gita verse wants to convey. The moment we are in a Pandit's view, that's a satellite view, we see everything in oneness. We break all barriers. Whereas even though that we are learned, but with the Brahmin view here, we can see through distances, long distances, but yet we have confinements. It's same like having a satellite view and a horizontal long distance view. I'm not going to the meaning of exactly the shlok, although shlok makes a mention that a Pandit will not discriminate, will not distinguish, will not discern between a cow, an elephant, or a dog, or someone with an inferior thought. The discrimination has been given between cow, elephant, and a dog only for reason that a cow, what a cow can do, an elephant cannot. What an elephant can do, the cow cannot. And what a dog can do, both cannot. All are different. It's to draw a discrimination between even the animals that generally we connect with, or anybody who is with inferior thought. So the shlok wants to convey that one who has acquired the status of a Pandit, one who is now blessed, one who has now been enshowered the satellite view, will not discriminate, will not discern between them, will not give priority to this or that, but take a holistic view. It in any way does not mean that if you have a satellite view, you will, when it comes to directly handle them, directly attend different people, you are going to be the same with them. No, you are certainly going to dispense rightfully with each one of them as they deserve, as they demand, as the situation demands. But behind the screen, behind the veil, within your insight, you will not discriminate. What does it mean? What is the message that it goes? The message goes a very deep one. I'm using two words over here. Now I will leave this space so that the camera can see me, but I'm utilizing these words now here. There are the two words. One is party versus observer. Party versus observer. What is party and what is observer? See, in general life, we confront odd situations. We confront tough people. we confront complex subjects, and we come out with a lot of confusion, dichotomy, conflict, delusion, lot many things we draw from them. Because that moment we are standing there with the horizontal long distance view, we become a party. The moment you take a step back and you try to analyze any situation from a view of a Pandit, that is a satellite view. When I say from a view of a Pandit, it means satellite view. When I say a satellite view, it means a view of a Pandit. When we try to analyze situations, people and subjects from a Pandit's view, we gather an absolutely different insight. Such inputs start manifesting, we generally would never, till the point we act as a party. For example, we had a small trivial dispute today morning. For example, we were parties. I had a rift with you, I had a conflict with you, and I don't agree to you. I hold a dissenting opinion. So much so that during the argument, slight acrimony also abrupted. Slight. And when I came back, I was in a very heavy mood. I had transcended all boundaries and I was trying to plot something against you. I had formed a strong opinion, negative opinion about you. At that moment I was a party, I was a confrontationist with you. I sit down, I take 5 long breaths, move my head, just jerk it away, and then with a glass of water, I ease myself down. And I try to take a Pandit's view to all that ongoing that I have recently experienced with you as a trivial issue. That then further it evaporated more towards slight acrimony and hot exchange of words. I analyze this complete situation. With the satellite view, I observe that there is something very adverse going on in your family these days. Yes, you should be discounted because you are something which is very disharmonious going with you. Then I also understand that probably you have not been able to understand that aspect which I wanted to make you understand. And impulsively or instinctively you reacted. And out of the reaction, without gauging that, I also responded. I think I should give you some time, or I should make you understand differently. I should again put my view across to you in a different manner. You actually are not a bad person. You are actually not wrong at all times. And even if you are wrong at most of the times, that is because of maybe some reason which your deeper understanding has gathered from somewhere. When I try to understand you, your situations, your background with a holistic view, I'm acting as a Pandit. I'm gaining a satellite view about you. I'm gaining a satellite view about all ongoings between you and me. I'm gaining a satellite view about all situations that you and me are connected for. And I'm also trying to understand, no, this could be the bypass. As Uber, Ola and Taxi for Sure, when they confront that this route is jammed, they suggest for an alternate route, which may be longer. But they suggest you, this route is free from any jam. There is no snag over here. The route may be 5 kilometers more, but you can go flawlessly. And then when the driver informs us, what do we say? We don't respond, no, I want you to simply pierce into the jam, stuck there. No, we immediately say, yes, yes, please take the another route. Whatever is being suggested by the GPS, follow it. Why? Because we have been able to access the satellite view, the Pandit's view. The Pandit's view could be slightly deflecting one, could be slightly averse to what exactly we are pursuing at this moment. But yet it is in justice with the total objective that we are trying to cherish, that we want to cherish. The message of the Gita is very clear over here. Not to confront into a confrontationist approach at all times, but try to access a satellite view, not only about people, but even tough situations. If something is going wrong, it is mandatory for us to rise above. Before we get into the blame chain and try to put things on this or that or someone else, or maybe factors beyond control, before doing that, let's have a holistic view. See everything as a hologram. And try to discern where exactly what is there. Because a Pandit will always do that. Because the one who has submerged into knowledge about self, which exactly means one who has now realized about oneness, one who has experienced oneness, one who has now undergone to marinate into a deep, deep existence where a transmutation of the entire existence has undergone, where nothing which is different exists. It's all oneness and oneness and oneness. Where such a oneness, where all Atma Vishaya Drishti or Atma Vishaya Buddhi, according to Adi Guru, has now come, it would always try to see things in holistic view. Whether those things are a situation, whether that thing could be a person, or that thing could be a subject, whatever it may be. Things could be wrong to any extent with you. Situations could be adverse to any extent. But we cannot deny an immutable fact. But if somehow we are able to take a step back and stop arguing about our horizontal, large, long distance view. No, I can see this over here. When you are only accessing a horizontal, long distance view, my friend, you are a party. But the moment you rise above, you get a satellite view, you become a Pandit. And the moment you become a Pandit, you are able to do justice with much more. You are not only able to harmonize your own self, settle your own self, gauge and grasp and absorb new inputs of information that otherwise elude your notices. But you would also conclude with something which ultimately will lead in the favor, in the light of your own vital objectives. This is the message, which not only the science also understands, it's all vibration. The science, when it becomes more nanoer, is able to accomplish much more than it generally does on a gross physical plane. Now nanotechnology, or nanoer than that, will be able to do much more in all walks of life, medical or whatever it may be. Why? Because they are trying to access certain oneness. They are going to the end of the existence where they can see things in uniformity. We can see the oneness into it, and thereby interfering into that oneness, they're trying to draw different results at a micro level, at an outer plane. And that is the same which we have to understand. Although this particular verse directly gives an inference of the most spiritual state of the realized soul, that is the Pandit. But yet, the knowledge of Gita is timeless for timeless characters, which means the character could be any. Could be in the boardroom, could be in the bank, could be in government, could be in society, a family, or even could be in some caves of Himalayas. The knowledge reaches out to all people with the same uniformity. And the knowledge says, before that, always acting as a party, gather the observers inside. Because with an observer inside, you shall be able to access inputs of information that are very unique, distinctive, that connect you with everybody. Because the moment you find connected to everybody, you understand other people, other situations, other subjects much more. And when you gain that kind of an understanding, you take decisions which conclude to harmony and growth in longevity. In longevity. This is the inference that we draw from this great verse. Let me reiterate that the live classroom of Srimad Bhagavad Gita takes place on every second and last Sunday. On every second and last Sunday of each month. The timings are 7:30 for Hindi, 9:30 for English. They say the service to knowledge is by making yourself available to imbibe, practice, and disseminate. You are certainly going to imbibe it, practice in your lives. Dissemination is also left. Try to disseminate the message so that more and more people can get related with this immutable, timeless knowledge bequeathed upon our generation by the greatest masters of the ancient times. See you in the next classroom with the next verse, number 19 of chapter 5. Till then, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.